Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is going to be a day in the life of a medical coder. All right, so I have a little victory to share. But before I can get to it, I have to tell the backstory. Okay, so sometimes when you are working in a hospital, they will reassign you to different clinics at different times depending on what's going on. Year before last, I got pulled out of the orthopedic clinic. Okay. And my partner, I had a partner at the time, she was given full access to all providers and she coded for all of orthopedics. Now, fast forward 8 months later, I get put back into the orthopedic clinic, which I was very happy about because, of course, I was very sad to leave orthopedics. I never wanted to leave orthopedics, but I still had all of podiatry, which was great for me. Because it's just like it is just like orthopedics, just smaller, because of the foot. The foot is smaller. So, but during this time, I was also put into new clinics like pulmonary and rheumatology, and I had a new provider in neurology, which I had never worked with. I had never worked with her. So it was all a matter of just learning new clinics and working on documentation to improve it on all of those clinics, and it worked out. I mean, everything got better, everything's really great, and everything's just cruising right along, right? So I fast forward to today. The workload has been distributed, and I have been put in orthopedics 100%. All the providers are my providers now. So there is no sharing orthopedics. There is no this person does this person, this person does this person. I am literally the coder 100% for orthopedics. So I am very excited. I even went to my boss and I went to her office and I knocked on the door and I told her, I'm going to withhold my glee for just a minute. And then she's looking at me like, what is wrong with you? And then she goes, what is it? And then I said, so you mean to tell me with this new workload assignment that I don't have to do neurology, rheumatology, or pulmonology anymore, but you're telling me that I have 100% of the orthopedic providers and the 100% of the podiatry providers. Am I getting that right? She goes, yes. And I go, I said, yes. And then she's like, well, Merry Christmas. And I said, Merry Christmas to you too. Because I have begged her for years to let me have 100% of orthopedics. It is very difficult to share a clinic with other coders, okay? Not just one other coder. It was a group of coders, okay? And as they were redistributing the workload, we were asked, do we have any preferences? And I told her I want orthopedics and podiatry, not really thinking she's going to give them both to me like fully. But she did. And she was like, didn't you, I asked you yesterday. And I was like, yes, I know, but I didn't think that you were going to actually give it to me, because I had begged her for years to let me have full access to all the orthopedic providers. But she felt that it was just more fair and even if it was just spread out over a bunch of different coders. But to me, if you are working in a clinic, it is best to have one voice to direct these providers. Now, I have talked about this in other videos about having your providers only talk to you when they have like questions and things like that. Now, it has been difficult for me. Not is was. It has been difficult for me to work with because I never want to step on anybody else's toes, and I never want to try to I don't want to show up anybody, okay? But I do always tell the coders, look, let's be a united front. And they agree. And they pretty much let me do whatever because they don't want to do orthopedics and I do, So that was the difference there. And so because I want to do orthopedics, I've always sent out like coding tip of the week. And I used to only send it in the beginning to my providers. Well, my providers in orthopedics were telling other providers that were not mine, hey, did you get this email from Blue? She sent out this really good coding tip. And they were like, well, no, but, I haven't heard anything from my coder. And so I said, well, let me just go ahead and send it to everybody. Okay. And I did tell the other coders, and they were, like I said, they were cool with it. So, but they would come and ask me, providers that were not mine would come and ask me, hey, how am I doing? And it was hard because I couldn't really actively tell them because I didn't, I wasn't coding their stuff. So I would have to go talk to their coder and make sure if there was any issues, then I could go and talk to them, because logistically I am the closest to them. Okay. Because I'm embedded in the clinic. I'm embedded in the podiatry clinic. So, which is right next door to orthopedics. And for the other coders, they are in other clinics away from orthopedics. So that's just how the way that everything's sorted, right? So as we're all going along, right? And so anybody who would have a orthopedic question, they would come to me. Any of the coders, they would ask me, things like that. Cool. But I had been begging my boss to let me have all of orthopedics because it would be a lot easier if I can just, direct everybody and not have to worry about, am I stepping on this other person's toes? Is this other person going to get upset because I'm talking to their provider? And I never did anything behind another coder's back. I always was very upfront, and I always told them, okay, if their provider came to me and asked a question, my next thing was sending them an email and telling them what we talked about. And everybody was like, oh, okay, cool. Whatever. I think I'm the only one this mattered to. But anyway, so this morning I see the email, and, my boss had put on there, redistribution of workload. And so I'm looking at it, and, they had asked us in a meeting the day before, what do we want? And of course I said orthopedics and podiatry, not really thinking that she's going to give me the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like that's only like my pipe dream. You know what I mean? Like really, not having to do any other clinics, but just concentrating only on orthopedics and podiatry, so like, but not really thinking, like I said, like, that's not gonna happen, whatever. And then this morning on it, but I see that, I'm like, so freaking excited. So, now, that I can, like, be comfortable, and, like I said, I have always sent them coding tip of the week, but now I can say, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. Instead of saying, I would always close the coding tip of the week with, if you have any questions, please reach out to your designated coder, or you can reach out to me, So now they can all come to me, and, everybody, can work with me. So I did go and talk with one of the PAs, and I told him right away, I was waiting to tell him, because we had this discussion before. He's like, why are there so many coders in this clinic? And I said, this is just the way that, it had been distributed. That's all. And then he's like, wouldn't it make sense to just have one coder? I said, I have said this. When you have too many chiefs and not enough Indians, that's the thing, like I said, I think it needs to be one solid voice. And, while sometimes coders may not mean to disagree with each other, inherently it is in our nature to question things. And it's not that, the questioning is not like arguing back with the other coder, but it does look bad when you do it in front of providers, and sometimes people don't think about those things. I always try to be real careful about that kind of stuff. I never disagree with a coworker in front of providers, because they need to see, no matter what, that you two have each other's back, or that, you have the group's back, or whatever. You got to show a united front. That is so important, because while it may be like a looks thing, it's very important to not sit there and bicker in front of providers, because it makes the coder not look like they know what they're doing. Either one of them. Okay, so this is why I always insist that no matter what, you always show a united front. Don't say anything. Do not flinch. If you do not agree with the coder, you wait until you get behind closed doors, and then you talk it out, and then if you come to an agreement of, oh yeah, well, maybe the other person was correct, or maybe this other person was correct, or whatever, fix it and move on. Okay, that is the whole thing. But you need to work on instilling confidence in your providers. They have to have confidence in you. They have to have confidence that you know what you're talking about and what you're doing. So the only way to do that is to be as professional as possible, and to show as much professional courtesy to your coworkers as you can, and especially when you are around your other providers. I'm just saying. So, and not to sip tea, okay, but I'm legitimately drinking tea, okay? Not oh, here's the tea. No, actual tea. Anyway, so I'm very excited, and this kicks in next week. So I'm very happy about that. And I already informed everybody, okay? That was my first thing, was sending out an email and saying, I will be the new sole designated coder for orthopedics and podiatry. Even though, I've already been the sole coder for podiatry for years now, still, this is a victory for me, and I am very excited about this. And my boss was like, you're the only one who's this excited about it. And I was like, well, I mean, it's like I get to do the most fun clinic. To me, in my head, it is the most fun clinic. And while, yes, rheumatology and neurology are very quick to get through, pulmonology had fallen off. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Or a few weeks ago now. They had fallen off, and so just getting them back on track. But it is literally like a turnkey clinic now. I mean, anybody can just go in and code it, because they are so on track now. So it won't be a big deal. So when you get these little victories like this is time to celebrate. So I have been very happy. Of course, I'm walking around all day with this freaking smile on my face, because it's like, this is awesome news. Like I said, it's the nerd in me. The nerd in me was very, very pleased today. So, but yes, that is it on that one. But other than that, I've gotten some really good questions, just from comments from viewers. So thank you guys so much for all of your questions. I will be stockpiling these for Q&A Tuesday for next week, because I will be filming Q&A Tuesday. I will be filming like normal schedule, and that's pretty much that on that. But yes, so if you guys have any other questions, please let me know. I will be doing more episodes about study tips, because that seems to be a very hot topic, study tips. And maybe I will eventually do a trip to my own public library so I can show you guys, because sometimes people, people still discount the library. Don't discount the library. The library is there, and it is free, and you can have access to so many books. I mean, why pay for books when you don't need to? Unless you absolutely need that book. Then, of course, yes, it's an investment. But to learn, anatomy and physiology and medical terminology, that is something that you can just check out, at a library. And it's totally cool that way too. So, all right, I will go ahead and wrap this nerdy video up, and I will go ahead and say goodnight for tonight. And but I wanted to tell you guys, I appreciate y'all watching. And if this video helped you, or if any of my videos helped you, I hope you'll like and subscribe and give this video a good thumbs up. And I will see y'all on the next video. Bye!